2, 3.
Hey loves, welcome back to our channel. Today I'm going to take you with me on a journey trying a different recipe. I decided I wanted some vegan stuffed shells, but for whatever reason in the grocery store there were no jumbo shells. So instead we're going to make lasagna rolls with a twist, lasagna Alfredo rolls. So this is everything that I'll be using to create this meal. So we have freshly chopped spinach, we have fresh broccoli, red peppers, asparagus, zucchini, and yellow squash. So these are all of the ingredients I will be using. Of course, we need lasagna noodles, some butter, some Kroger plant-based Alfredo sauce, some ripple, which is a half and half. We have our grapeseed oil. Then we have some minced garlic. So delicious cheddar jack. We have some Violife Mozzarella. Some Follow Your Heart Parmesan. Some Tofutti sour cream. A little Kite heel almond ricotta. And then for the seasonings, we have some Trader Joe's vegan chickenless seasoning. A little pink Himalayan sea salt, fine. Regular pepper. Some Mrs. Dash garlic and herb. And then we have some trusty onion powder. So let's start this recipe. Let's see what we come up with. I'm hoping that it turns out as good as I think it will in my mind, because I was all set and ready for Alfredo stuffed shells, and Kroger had it out for your girl today. So that's not gonna happen. So I'm hoping that these lasagna rolls turn out just as great. We'll move over to sauteing after we put on our lasagna noodles for them to cook first, because they're going to take the longest. I'm excited. We're doing this together. So I'll be back in a minute. Okay, so we're starting off with boiling water, and we're just going to drop in the lasagna. I like to do it in a crisscross pattern just to make sure that they don't stick as they cook. And then we're going to let these boil for about 10 minutes. Of course, I'm not using the whole pack of lasagna noodles because your girl is the only vegan in the house. So this is going to be a couple of days dinner, and I'm probably going to end up freezing a roll or two because there's no way I'm going to be able to eat all of this. But here we go. Let's set a timer for the lasagna. We're starting off with about 2 tablespoons of grapeseed oil in the pan. So as you can see, my pot is pretty scratched up, so those aren't things actually in the pot. There's just scratches. Time for a new pot set. So we're going to heat this over medium heat, and then we're going to add in our vegetables. I have all the vegetables in the pan, and I'm going to start off with lightly adding some of the seasoning. The ones that have salt in it, I'll probably use the least. This is the Mrs. Dash. It is salt free, so I can be pretty heavy handed with that. Onion powder. We started with the chickenless seasoning. And then we have a little bit of Himalayan salt and pepper. And as you can see in the middle, I dumped a whole bunch of garlic. I don't measure garlic. I love garlic, and so I kind of just, wait until, my ancestors tell me that that's enough. And then my breath is going to probably be really stinky. The only vegetable that is not in the mixture as of yet is the spinach. And that's because spinach cooks down really fast, so it doesn't need a whole lot of time in the pan. So we're going to saute this for about no more than 5 minutes. I don't want the vegetables mushy, but I do want them softened and seasoned. And once we get the vegetables sufficiently sauteed, then we'll move on to preparing the Alfredo sauce while we wait. Oh, I wish you could smell this. It smells so good already. So as you can see, they've softened up nicely. Now I'm going to go ahead and add the spinach. I did a second round of my seasoning, my layered seasoning on the vegetables. So on top of the spinach, I'm only going to add the non-salt having seasonings because the spinach is going to pick up the salt that's already in the pan and on the other vegetables. And it looks like, oh, that's so much spinach. No, spinach cooks down to almost nothing. So the spinach actually is going to probably fall in the background a little bit. But I'll go ahead and saute this for about a minute, no more than 2. And then this mixture is complete and ready to be set to the side as we get this together. So still on medium heat, I've added the Alfredo sauce, some ripple, some butter, I want to say about 2 tablespoons of butter as far as the ripple. I really didn't measure, and I'm probably going to end up adding some more. So you just want to play with it until it's the creamy consistency that you're looking for. And then I'm adding in some Follow Your Heart Parmesan to help with the flavor, because I'm not the biggest fan of the Kroger brand Alfredo sauce. But I did not have time to make my own. I just got off work. Your girl is tired. But I had a taste for something. So the butter, the Parmesan, I'm going to add in just a little bit of onion powder, a tinge of salt. And then we're just going to stir, basically just letting this warm up, letting the cheese melt and get to the desired consistency. I don't want it too thick, but I also don't want it too thin. So I'm gonna add in a little bit more of the ripple. And now we're just gonna get this to just to boil. And that way we know everything has been, and I just dropped some spinach in there, but that's fine because that's what is going on anyway. So we just want to keep stirring it occasionally. You don't want it to curdle or cook too fast. So now that our sauce is complete, our veggies are sauteed. Now I'm going to go through and add the rest of the binding agents to the mixture. So first I'm going to start with this Kite Hills almond ricotta. I'm not going to use a whole bunch of this, maybe a little bit, kind of like 2 teaspoons. The funny thing is, before I became vegan, I hated ricotta, but I love almond ricotta. So I'm going to be a little bit more liberal with the sour cream, probably about double the amount that I used of the almond ricotta. And we're going to play with this as it goes along, so I may add more. So I'm going to take the So Delicious Cheddar Jack. I'm going to pour maybe half a bag in there. And then I'm gonna take the Violife Mozzarella. We'll use like maybe a fourth a bag of the mozzarella. And then I'm gonna go ahead and use, I don't know, maybe a couple tablespoons of the Parmesan, the same Parmesan that we added to the Alfredo. Okay. And then we're just gonna stir the mixture up. And that way we can see what does it need. If I have enough. You just want to make sure that you're stirring it good because things like the ricotta can hide in clumps, and you want to make sure that everything is evenly distributed. So again, this is my first time doing lasagna rolls, but I figured it can't be that difficult. Get a really good picture of what the mixture is, what the mixture looks like up close. I'm gonna add in a little bit more cheese just to make it a little stiffer and easier to roll. But it's gonna taste so good. Alright. So I took the lasagna noodles out of the boiling water and I placed them in cold water just to make them more manageable. I have to be careful. I will go crazy with cheese. The funny thing is I'm not the biggest vegan cheese fan, but So Delicious Cheddar Jack is like crack to me. For me, it is the closest to real cheese that I found in the vegan versions. But nothing is quite like the real dairy cheddar. However, So Delicious comes close. And then when I cannot find my So Delicious, Violife is my second go-to brand. So I'm going to use my cutting board to roll. Here so you guys can see it. To roll the lasagna rolls. I don't know why I want to call this lobster. I don't even like lobster. I didn't eat it before I went vegan. I'm gonna roll that out. And I'm gonna put, I would assume, tablespoon or so. You don't want to overstuff them because I don't know how these are going to roll. Just get a nice amount. That's probably more than enough. And I'm going to start at the end. I'm just going to tuck and roll, trying to be careful not to let too much spill out. I'm pushing in as I'm rolling. Slide this back some, and then roll. Okay, and then once they're completely rolled, they look about like that size. And I'm going to just place them in the pan, cut side down, or roll side down. And then that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna repeat. We're gonna fill this up, and then once we have the mixture completely in the pan, then we'll add the Alfredo sauce. So, yay! Excited! I'm slinging stuff. I would suggest, if you are making this for other people, please wear gloves because it does require a lot of touching. Now, if you're making it for your kids and your husband or whatnot, they know your hands are clean. But if you're making it for a large group of people, you definitely want to make sure that you wear gloves so you're not contaminating the food. oven for about 30 to 45 minutes, and then they should be done. There's a little bit of mixture left, so I just want to taste it before we put it in the oven. So I can give my honest opinion first bite. This is about to be bomb.com. So as you can see, I put a little bit of spinach and red pepper across the top just to give it a little pop, a little garnish, so that it's more appealing to the eye. And I plated it with a spinach salad that just has some broccoli, red peppers, topped with some Kelly's croutons, Aloha Parmesan, and then I'll top it off with some vinaigrette dressing. Then I have a nice Trader Joe everything ciabatta roll, and that looks amazing to me. So let me know what you guys thought. Please let me know if you try this recipe. I'm really excited about it. I want to thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe if you're not a member of our community. Don't forget to share with your friends and family because we need more people in our community. And also don't forget to hit the notification bell to remind you every time that I do a video. Can't wait to hear from you guys. See you later, loves.